Welcome to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest today is actress Chloe Guidry. She plays Cleo in the new film Wayward. And you've heard me talk about it before. It's my favorite film of 2025, and I watch a lot of film. It's my number one film. Here's the storyline. While moving from Idaho to Los Angeles with her mother, an 11-year-old girl yearning for stability becomes smitten with a charismatic female hitchhiker that they pick up along the way. And as she detaches more and more from her mother, the girl forms an unlikely bond with the hitchhiker, blurring the line between running away and kidnapping. And sometimes getting lost is the only way out. So that line resonates with me. Sometimes getting lost is the only way out. When I was 10 years old, I ran away from home in Fairbanks, Alaska. And home at that time was a motorhome. We had packed up everything in Alaska after 2 years, and we were headed back to warm California, and I couldn't wait. Driving into Fairbanks, we spotted baby rabbits on the side of the road. My brother, sister, and I begged my dad to stop. We wanted to save the baby rabbits from the cars that were speeding by, totally oblivious to them. He reluctantly agreed, pulled over, and soon our family of five had grown to nine. Five human beings and four cute little bunnies. And before reaching Fairbanks, my siblings and I had picked out and named our favorites. We stopped in Fairbanks to fuel up at a gas station, and my dad opened the door to the motorhome and said, "It's time to set them free." I didn't even fathom that that would come out. I thought they were ours forever, and I was devastated. My sister, brother, and I begged and we pleaded with them to let us keep them. Um, but no, we had to set them free. And he gathered each bunny up carefully and he freed them into the wooded area behind the gas station. I decided that I was going to run away and live with the bunnies, run away and protest. And so I did. I ran into the woods. I can remember it vividly. It was a cold day. The sky was overcast and it was drizzling. And soon the motorhome had disappeared from my view. I went deeper and deeper into the woods and finally sat down in a clearing. I couldn't see the bunnies anywhere, but I was going to sit there and I was going to wait until my family drove off. And that was about as much as I had planned. It wasn't a very good plan. Then I got spooked. The trees had swallowed me. The woods were dark and wet. I was damp and I was cold and I was shivering. And I quickly abandoned my plan and I made my way back to the motorhome. No one had even noticed I was gone. I guess I wasn't gone very long. I climbed in, I shut the door behind me, and that's my running away story. How many of you ran away when you were a kid or dreamed of running away because the adults, your parents, the people around you in your life, your teachers, they just didn't understand you? Humiliated by my failure, I never tried to run away again. And I bring up this story because there's a scene in Wayward that brings back this memory of my failed escape so many years ago in Alaska. And in the scene, Cleo, played by Chloe, gets annoyed with her kidnappers and flees the diner where they're having dinner. Her captors are waiting to call her mother to make a ransom demand to return Cleo. Cleo pretends to use the bathroom but quickly exits the restaurant and walks down the noisy boulevard in what she hopes is the direction of the hotel where her mother is. The scene is brilliantly shot. The camera closes up on Cleo's face as the panic sets in, and she looks wildly about and the noises of the street elevate her breathing and her anxiety. Sirens, horns, loud strangers, and rushing cars alongside her add to the scene's tension. And you feel all of this. And you're taking every step with Cleo. And the story is off. And it drags you behind it all the way until the final scene. After an hour and a half, you finally get a rest. Exhausted, but exhilarated for the ride. Do you know that feeling when you're having a bad dream and you wake yourself up in a panic and you tell yourself, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. Calm down. It's just a dream. Well, Wayward is a little like that. The performances are so real that over and over, I forgot it was just a movie. And I had to remind myself of that fact as I was sucked deeper and deeper into Cleo's story. Chloe Guidry was born in Crowley, Louisiana. She is talented behind her 17 years, as witnessed in Wayward and Hulu's Under the Bridge. Chloe has a deepness, and her performances are riveting. You simply can't look away when she's on screen. And she already has that rare quality of being a screen legend. If she's in a movie, you want to see that movie. Her roles this far range from small to big, but she plays all of them big. Her performance in Wayward deserves a Golden Globe or an Oscar nomination. I'll lead that charge. I truly believe that. It's an amazing, amazing performance that you have to see for yourself on your own. Chloe's also known for Under the Bridge, 2024 on Hulu, which was rated one of the top 15 shows of 2024. She's known for The Park in 2023 and Don't Kill It in 2016, and of course, Wayward. She's been nominated for the 2025 Film Independent Spirit Awards for the Independent Spirit Award. She was nominated for Best Supporting Performance in a new scripted series for Under the Bridge in 2024 and nominated for the International Online Cinema Awards as Best Ensemble in a limited series or TV movie for Under the Bridge. Welcome, Chloe.
Hi.
Now, that was a long time. Thank you for hanging out and listening to my story.
Of course. Thank you for saying all those things. Those are so sweet.
Congratulations on your success. It's so well deserved, and you've obviously worked very hard for it.
Thank you.
It's just been a really a pleasure to watch your performances.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch them. That means a lot.
Keep making them, would you? What's next? Okay, so could you describe for us Cleo in a sentence from your perspective?
A troubled girl who just wanted love. I think that at that age, we're all trying to like find people that relate to us, or we're trying to fit in every type of aspect. But I think that the true thing that everyone wants is just love. And for Cleo, it was parental love. She was just trying to find that because the only love she got was obviously from her mother. She knew her mother loved her, but it wasn't stable. She had to be the mother at times. But love, that's what she wanted.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And do you think that's why it works ultimately? That throughway of storyline of love ultimately being there and what motivates the story?
Definitely. I think it unveils the vulnerability that we all feel at times. We all go through those times of just wanting love, like in every type of aspect. So I think that it's relating to everyone. Everyone relates to that love wanting deep down.
How did you find that? How did you relate to that and find that in the script? I mean, that it's there, but you had to find it. You had to see it. What helped you see that and understand that about your character?
I think it was pretty hard to relate. I always grew up with I was very fortunate to have parents, that were so loving to me, and everyone around me that was so loving to me. So I think that ultimately trying to find the times where you just didn't feel that love. I mean, you knew you had it, but you just didn't feel like the first option in someone's life. I think that that's what Cleo felt. She knew her mother loved her, but she always chose men or boyfriends or money over her. So I think that, finding the deep reasons as to why Cleo wanted that love was important to relay when I played her. Yeah.
Mm. So that's what motivates her. Underlying is the love, wanting love, which is, as you said, it's you defined. It's a universal feeling that we all have and we all want that resonates. So
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but now that you bring that up, that's probably why we connect with you so well in this role because you play it so well. Um, and I'm happy, by the way, that you have people around you that love you. That's obvious, I think, and your success and your achievements. So now on the other side, Cleo has flaws herself. What are those character flaws?
I think it's the acting out, the rebellion, the running away, the thrill of it all, because I think that's the only way she felt like eyes were on her or attention was on her or love again was on her, was acting out and wanting attention at those times because she didn't know how else to react. I mean, her mother, she didn't really teach her all the social aspects of life, all the stableness that a child needs, especially when they
Mm,
grow up. I think that it definitely showed in her actions sometimes of, she didn't always have that stableness. So she did whatever she wanted at times. Um, and that's why she wanted to go with Orbis, and she smoked, she played guitar, she went around the country and she saw that, and she saw that she could have that and she could live like that. She was only 11, but in her mind that was the world for her. So I think that the flaws were, I mean, it was underlying, but it was definitely just acting out because she didn't know better. She knew better, but um
negative attention.
exactly, her mom didn't really, felt that her mom didn't care, so she just did
I have a brother like that. He loves negative attention. He
it.
loves to pick on you to get you to react. Uh,
Yeah.
what do you think she knows about life at that point? Is she street smart or is she um, not so much? What do you think? How do you think that
it,
care?
I think she was smart. I think there's immaturity and maturity that I felt coming from her. It was the maturity was, I mean, she had to grow up so young. She almost went to 8 different schools in one year, and that's like a lot for an 11-year-old to deal with. So I think that learning how to cope with that and learning how to cope with a mother that just at times was just not stable, like she had to be the foundation for both of them at times, and I thought that was the maturity. Um, but at times, obviously, an 11-year-old, you're going to be immature. You're going to, like those flaws, run away, act out, cry, scream, just because. I mean, that's the way she got attention. So I think she was street smart at times, but like naive. Yeah.
So you're playing similar to an age at that age when you were playing the role to Cleo,
Mm-hmm.
and you were probably going through. I mean, those are growing pains. That time is really,
It was
uh,
tough.
yeah, it's a tough time, and so you're going through them almost in real time as your
Mm-hmm.
character. Were there certain instances that were happening in your life that you were able to draw on? And if so, do you have an example of something that was
Yeah.
happening?
Of course. I mean, just that time, like for me personally, like going back to LA and all this stuff, like your friends is it's really hard to manage that and to feel normal when you come back home and included when you're all
Right.
doing stuff. I mean, that's like really, it can be really lonely at times. And then I had a lot of family losses at that time. So just pulling from that was, my grandpa died while I was filming the show. So I felt like at
Um,
times like I could definitely pull from that. Um, but I think those were the real life events that helped me relate to this character, or play into that. And yeah,
were you and your grandfather close? Really close?
yeah, he was such a great grandpa. He was
Mhm.
really amazing. But I
What's his name?
his name was Bobby. um, I called him Pawpaw, but yeah, he was really awesome. Yeah.
Well, how sweet. I'm sorry for your loss on that. Yeah, that sounds like you were going through quite a bit there. It's also the time, isn't it, where you're going from childhood into young adult and you're sort of just naturally going towards your friends and you're pulling away from your parents away or your family, even if you still have a foot or two in and you love them and but you
Yeah,
do go, you start to
definitely. You want to
think
feel
for
in,
yourself, right?
yeah, definitely. And you see,
Live for your,
a huge part of it is you see all your friends or not even if it's not even your friends, but just the things you see on social media at that time was like, oh, they're all having fun. Like I need to be included in that. So I think like pulling from that in every aspect of that was something I could include when I played Cleo.
yeah. And you, how long had you ever been to LA before or had you ever lived in LA before?
I started living in LA when I was around like 8 or 9. I would go for probably like 3 months at a time out of the year, but I would go for probably about like 3 years straight. I lived in LA for 3 months, like how many times a year? Like I would go for pilot season, episodic season, so
Mm,
just living in those.
just
Um,
audition.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Now, so you probably made some friends, even though it sounds like it was mainly focused around business, and that's a full-time job there, auditioning and all that. Did did you connect more with the friends at home in Louisiana? Was that to you, is that kind of how what you where you saw home and your friendships?
Definitely. I'm of course I grew relationships with acting and the acting world and um when I would do shows like those type of friends, but I definitely still had my home friends that like when I came home they were just I was really blessed to have people that really supported me in everything. Obviously you go through tough times with your friends and everything, but really having like those small group of friends that supported you, loved you, wanted the absolute best for you.
Yeah.
Didn't matter, so
And your friends are everything at that age. You just want to be around them, right? You want to be, like you said, we're looking at social media. I didn't have that luckily when I was in high school and moved. I went to 11 schools in 12 years, so I get that. And I imagine watching it and seeing it and knowing that you just weren't there is really hard at that age. You want to just be
yeah,
a part of that. So Arlene is the mother who plays your mother, the mother to Cleo. Is her neediness is almost to the point of desperation, isn't it? Like just
yeah.
how do I get you to how does she relate to you? How does she break through? And the
Hmm.
characters, and that happens so quickly in the beginning. I just love how you both of you together just set the scene. I was telling this to Jess Weixler yesterday, who plays Arlene, how you guys set the scene so quickly, and immediately the viewer, watching it, connect with all of that. We can relate to all of that. You did it so well without pointing like banging it over our head. It was just subtle and just I mean that's great acting.
Thank
How do
you.
you react to needy people in your life? Is it a turn on or a turn off? Do you?
I think it depends. I think like if it's friendship wise or relationship wise or even like family wise, but I think like there's a level of neediness that everyone needs, that reassurance. But when it comes to like desperation and just I don't know how to say it. Like if it's like you're dependent on me, that's like a because I think it's really important for everyone to find their own identity.
Yeah.
But there are going to be times when you're lonely in life, when you feel alone, and so you have to self love. I feel like a lot of love comes from yourself and really being into yourself. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just learning how to find your own identity in the world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think you have found yours? Are you on the way?
I'm on my way. I mean, high school was one of the most like for challenging at I think eighth grade, kind of when I was doing this show. It was like challenging years, but I learned a lot, experienced a lot. But I definitely think I'm growing and I do like I love my alone time. I love it. um
Mm, I could feel that about you. I could see that. You know, the great thing about high school is that it's perfect practice for Hollywood. Hollywood's basically a big high school.
It is.
You're going to see the same people, be nice to everybody, but
Yeah,
it's small in a way, it's a small industry.
it really is. It's
What
small.
did you relate to, like that you picked up on um, in the relationship between Arlene and Cleo? What did you really relate to? What stood out to you in that role?
I think it was the vulnerability that I really wanted to show in between the mother and the daughter. I think it was very like you definitely everyone goes to that stage where it's like that awkward teenage phase and trying to fit in and wanting to feel that love. It was definitely on a deeper level with Cleo, because of the way her mother was. But I think that everyone relates to that at a point in their lives, when they want to rebel, not rebel, but go through those stages where they want to do everything that everybody else is doing or try to fit in or do things to be included. But I think that relating that between Cleo than my personal life was something that I could try to play.
No, you did well. You did very well. Okay, are you a pretty honest person, do you think?
I think so.
I mean, I know we just met, so you're like, I don't know how honest I want to be, but I
I think so.
okay, good. Now let's go get as honest as you can for me without going being uncomfortable. What I'm curious about a couple of your roles. So, what characteristics of each of the roles that I'm going to mention
Okay.
that you play come from you? Like
Okay.
just
Yeah.
maybe like one sentence for each one, if you be honest,
Okay.
and what you identified with each character. So Josephine Bell from Under the Bridge.
Mm.
What do we see of you, the real you, in that character?
I think the shield, like the guard that I always keep up. I think like in my personal life, I definitely have a guard with everyone. So like taking
It's
time.
good though. It's
Yeah,
good.
of course. But I definitely think that it can hurt me at times because I have a tendency to like push people away, and I think that's what
Mm,
Josephine did in a lot of ways. She wanted to protect herself mostly, so she acted out at times. And I'm not saying I would ever do the things that Josephine did ever, but I think that having that guard up was kind of like the relating thing
that's a
for
good
me.
answer.
Yeah.
Well, you may have already answered this one for Wayward Cleo.
That was probably the love. The
Yeah.
love. I think like I said, it's kind of the thing that everyone can relate to is feeling that love at times. And I think that we try to find that, we try to search for it. Um, but you just have to realize like true love and from your parents, your friends, but really understanding what that's like. Yeah.
Well, and you said something earlier that you are happy with yourself, that you feel like you're growing, that you feel like you love yourself and you're understanding yourself. And I really think ultimately my experience over the years is that when you find the love that you deserve, it's that you understand that you have that understanding that you described of yourself. You have to love yourself first, right? To understand people and to have empathy and to um,
Of course.
all those things that are important parts, ingredients to love.
Yeah.
Where and when, Chloe, are you the happiest?
Probably when I'm with okay, there's like a business answer and then there's like a personal. The business is probably when I'm on set. That is my happy place. Like everything else turns off in my mind. It doesn't matter what's going on. Um, but
Being on set?
yes, yes, definitely. It feels like I don't know. I'm just my happiest. I guess I knew it when I was 6 years old, but it's truly my happiest place. And then like probably personal would be like with my family. I know that's like a everybody would say that, but truly like my family is one of the most. I mean, one of the most important things to me. So when I'm around them, I'm always happy.
Do you credit a lot of your success and your drive? And I mean, I'm gonna continue on with your resume. I haven't even barely scratched the surface, but the things that you've accomplished is just amazing in your life. Do you credit a lot of that to that family love and that bond that you experience and their support?
Definitely. I mean, my parents, my mom, my dad have literally sacrificed, and my brothers, they have sacrificed so much for me to be able to do this career, because they know I love it. And um, just from my extended family too, the absolute love and supporting that they've always done, no matter what roles, no matter what I decided to do, whatever I was doing, and even not acting. I mean, they've always supported everything for me. And I think that my parents were very, or have so much work ethic and drive and continuing to make your own path and being independent. So I think that I definitely carry that with me when I go to work or in whatever I do, is to put 100% effort into whatever I'm doing and commit to it.
They've made a sacrifice in their own lives for you to
Exactly.
give you what you dreamed of and what you want to do and be and who you are. And they see you. That's amazing too, that they see who you are, obviously, and they're helping you get there. So I forgot one of the characters. I had three characters. I skipped one of them. Dakota and Joe Dirt.
Oh my goodness. I think at the time it was probably like the crown. Like Yara, the she had two siblings. I had two siblings. So it was just like wanting to be the baby kind of it. I know she was a triplet, but kind of wanted to be the baby, like getting all the crown stuff. That's how I started acting. Was I did a pageant for my grandma. She had multiple sclerosis. And my mom had always done pageants, my cousin, and my mom was like, Chloe, you should do it. So I just did it. And then I ended up winning, and that's how I got the 5 week acting scholarship to in New Orleans. And then me and my mom went every year. I mean, every Saturday for probably like 3, 4 years. Yeah.
If your mom and your dad had any doubts or if they were scared for the career that you wanted, did they ever show that? Did they,
I mean,
that's such a scary thing for a kid to go into, a business. It can be horrible, but did they show that or did they
I think
just give you?
they definitely had it, obviously, but everything that they showed me was to have my roots, to have that stableness. They wanted me to go to school, continuing to go to school. They wanted me to, go out, like live my own life, not let it consume me, and then move to LA. And that's who I am now. I think finding who I am besides acting was really important, and to having like that roots that I come home to. Obviously, I mean, I know now they're scared with the industry that I'm in, and rightfully so. It's a big industry. There's so much to it in every aspect. But majority, like they've always supported me in it and always led me in the right direction. And I love having their input in everything that I do. So I mean, they've always been great with it.
And that trust, they have trust for you, obviously, and that's
Mhm.
love.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to know that they trust you so
It-
much.
and
For your guidance.
they've always given me that, Chloe, this is your career. We're not going to work for you. We're not going to tell you what to do at times, but I mean, you have to work for it. And they never pressured me and continuing it. It was always my choice to keep going, and they've always supported that.
It's great.
Yeah.
I was reading an article, or maybe I was watching an interview with you before we talked today, and
Mhm.
you talked in the interview about how you really grew. You felt that you really grew as a person during the making of Under the Bridge on Hulu as
Yeah.
Josephine Bell. And so my question was, how did you grow with between that production and Wayward? Like, do you remember, was there certain things that stood out, how you grew as a person, that you walked off that set, you walked away from Wayward and you said, I learned this.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like every project I've ever done, I've grown from. Every project leads you to the other. So I feel like every single project I've walked away with a new growth, or I've looked back and been like, wow, that was truly helpful. And this one was just letting me know that this was my first one that I was like a lead in. And so letting me know that, I have the confidence to do this. I can do it. I can lead be a leader in this. And just being confident with my acting skills and knowing the choices I wanted to make in the collaboration. I think I just grew confidence in Wayward when I filmed that.
It's such a great movie. You do such a
Mhm.
great job. I'm going to keep embarrassing you and repeating that. And I want to really repeat, for the listeners, We talked to Jessica Frohlich, the director and the writer
Hmm.
of Wayward, over a month ago, and Wayward was not available at the time. It was still in the film festival circuit, and the
Hmm.
way these films work, when they get distribution, they go through the circuit, and
Hmm.
sometimes it may be 2 or 3 years before they get the distribution or it's available to rent or stream. And so I'm so excited. I said, Jessica, when it's ready, because I love this film. I really love it from beginning to end, and I want people to see it. Um, so when she said that, it's available April 4th, that's why we're talking, you and I are talking now. Uh, you were so good in it. I'm like, she's never going to come on my show, but I'm so happy that you're here and that you did because
Me.
the performance, just bravo. On-set chemistry. We're going to take a break here, but last question before the break. On-set chemistry something that you brought up in one of something I read about you, and I'd never really thought about that onset chemistry, and it's so apparent in Wayward that you guys have this onset chemistry, whether you love or hate each other in the scene. There's something going on with each one of these characters that just draws you to them because there's this chemistry which is it's a unspoken thing, right? It's not a tangible thing. You've got to earn it. You've got to feel it. It can't be faked. How do you achieve that when you meet a cast for the first time that you know you're going to get intense with and there's going
Yeah.
to be
I think like you said, chemistry is so incredibly important. And before I even got Cleo, I did a chemistry with Jess Weixler, and right from the bat we did improv scenes, and we did the scenes, and it was just immediate. You can immediately tell when you have that
yeah.
chemistry with. And I think with all the characters, honestly, that I've ever been with, like that chemistry has always been there. And I think that even if it's not at times, you find it and you relate to it. You find something in your life that you relate to as a person that you see in your own personal life, and you stick it in whatever character you're playing. But finding that chemistry it was honestly like with Wayward, it was so easy. Every single person that I met, I felt like I had chemistry with, and that I could openly play Cleo in the ways that I needed. Yeah.
And you felt safe with your cast that they would receive that. That having that consciousness of chemistry or that consciousness of what you need out of the character or what you
Mhm.
want to bring does that feels like it's you're almost a superhuman. You have to be almost a superhuman in a way to like, okay, what am I feeling right now? How can I use this in a future role? How can I call this back up? You're you're very conscious, it sounds like, of your feelings and what your how processing what you go through.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is, especially on set, is trying to create that balance of separating your personal life from your set life, because at times it can, with Cleo at times and with Josephine, like it clashed together, and when it did, sometimes it was overwhelming, and you had to learn, to separate the two. And I think that's important with any project you go on, is learning how to separate your character from your personal life.
Wayward, the
Yes.
New York City movie guru says, well acted and refreshingly unpredictable. Scenes in color, says of Wayward. It's a riveting film rooted in a mother's love. And the New York Sun says of Wayward, a remarkable performance by Chloe Guidry. So Wayward is out Friday. By the time you're hearing this, it is out. So I don't know what you're doing over the weekend, but I guarantee there's some TV watching or a movie in there somewhere. Here's the movie to watch. It's Wayward. Sometimes getting lost is the only way out. And Wayward is available for streaming on Friday, April 4th on Apple TV, Google Plus, and Amazon. You can go to the website to learn more about the film and screenings, waywardfilm.com. On Instagram, it's wayward underscore the film. Follow Chloe Guidry, my special guest today on Instagram, Chloe underscore Guidry. I'm going to spell it for you. CHLOE underscore Guidry. On imd.com, go to Chloe Guidry. And on TikTok, at Chloe_Annalyn. You can find her on all those places and keep up with her. She's going places, she's doing things, and you want to be a part of that. Um, you can also listen to my interview with director and writer Jacquelyn Frohlich, season 18, episode 8. And Jess Weixler just posted season 17. She's on episode 19. We got the cast of Wayward, but today it's Chloe Guidry who plays Cleo. And if your socks don't get knocked off, actually don't even put on socks when you watch this because they're going to get knocked off. It's an amazing performance. My favorite film of 2025. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.